In today's episode of the Jersey to Vegas podcast, we're going to talk about one thing. It's called the Q word. And I'm sure you've done it, and I'm sure you're thinking about doing it, and or will do it at some point inside your life. Like right now, you want to cue this video, right? But just hang out for a second, listen to me for a second, and let's see if you're doing this one thing called the Q word. And that's called quitting. Do you quit on things that you care about? Do you quit on things that you love? Have you quit in the past? Is there something that got so tough that you just quit? Well, today we're going to talk about that because I think it's a very important and a valuable lesson in quitting or not quitting. So what am I talking about? Let's find out in this week's episode, number 97 of the Jersey to Vegas podcast. I'm Pete, and I'll see you guys in a second. To quit, or quit, according to the dictionary, means leave a place, usually permanently, behave in a specified way, rid of. I guess you all know what the word quit means, right? It means to stop. And like right now, some of you guys have stopped listening or you're quitting the podcast. And that's fine with me. It's cool. As long as maybe I explored your mind to think a little bit more about, have you quit something? Is there something in your life that you really do regret quitting? If you do, comment down below. Comment, text me, message me. I want to know your story because I think stories are very important inside learning. And anyone's thinking, like, I'm going to learn from you, you're going to learn from me. That's exchanging stories. You know, like I can easily, and I always want to, honestly, quit the podcast, right? Because what's out of it? Who cares? Like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, why do I think, who cares? No one's listening. No one's paying attention. So who gives a shit? Right? That's what I think. And then just more recently, I went back to home to New Jersey. So I went from Vegas to Jersey, and people have told me that they are listening to the podcast. And to me, that means the world. You know, so shout out to you guys. I'm not going to call you out because I know you guys are the quite introverted ones, but thank you so much for telling me that the podcast means something to you. Thank you for telling me that it does. You hear that shit? I don't know. Punch the kids in the face. I'm just kidding. Thank you guys for, I'm not editing that either. Thank you guys for just expressing how much the podcast means to you guys, because that means a lot to me. That means like I'm doing something worth value, right? That's all I care about, right? If anything comes out of this, anything comes out of it. But if I quit, then no one gets nothing, right? Then I get nothing out of it, right? I don't get to express and or help people, and you guys don't learn a lesson or a story or maybe even just a laugh that you need. So quitting is very tough, right? It's like walking on a tightrope because there are things I believe that you need to quit. I'm not going to say like you never quit things, don't ever do. No. If it's not in your heart, you quit, right? And that's with anything. And I will always go back to stories of wrestling when I was coaching. I would have kids want to quit, and that's fine with me. I never called them a P word. I never called them a D word. You know what I'm talking about, right? When I say those words, good. Think in your head. Make them up because those are the words I'm thinking of using. But I've never called them that. A lot of them just quit because they don't like it, right? And I can't force someone that I don't see that may have any potential and or doesn't really care about it. You can tell by the way they practice, the way they move, the way they run, that if they quit, it's not really going to be a big deal. But what would be worse is that if they didn't and they just stayed and just hated it the entire time. You know, that's not fun. You know, and you see a lot of younger kids doing it right now. I want to say middle school kids, high school kids, they hate sports because it's not fun for them anymore, but they're not allowed to quit, right? Now, that's the borderline. Is it okay for that kid to quit, or does he stay on? What's your rule? You know, let me know. Comment down below. Let me know what your rule is. I think there's a rule of finish the season, maybe. Notice I even said maybe, right? Because if you're like dragging ass and like you just really don't even show up to practice anymore, then just quit, right? But if you're just inside there being a deadbeat and like you don't care and just quit, it's fine. Because there's other things that you may be better at that you can show value to yourself and to others doing. If you're not like a sports guy, maybe you're really good at gaming. I'm not turning down gaming. I think my kid's a great gamer. I think that's what he's going to do because he can't catch a ball for shit. Phoenix sucks at catching, throwing. He's like Jay. Jay can't throw a ball. Ask Jay, my brother, to throw a baseball to you. If it's supposed to go straight, it's going to go to the right. Guaranteed. So if you're going to throw there, just stand to the right because he's definitely going to throw it that way. Basketball, he's a little better with. Baseball, definitely not. Footballs, he might tear a shoulder. I'm not going to lie. So, but Phoenix would be a good gamer or something electronic or something has to do with computers. You know, that's his personality that he's really excelling at right now, right? Instruments, things, where you put things together. And that's it. Not going to push him to do anything more. He exercises every morning. Can't really complain, right? But what about your kid? They just joined a basketball team. He doesn't like it. She doesn't like it. Do you force them to stay on to finish the season and see what happens? Do you give them a timeline? Like, all right, let's give it another month. Let's see how it goes. But I need you to try. You know, it's like those conversations I think need to be had. And that's what I do with my wrestler, or I did with my wrestler. I have tons of kids. Guys, I forced kids to quit, right? If you guys ever wrestled before me, the first practice was the day after Thanksgiving. Now, granted, I should be fired and in jail for half of the things I've done as a coach, because it was 2000, 1990s, like the late 90s, early 2000s. There wasn't many rules. People were getting called out. Fucking Bobby Knight ruined it for everybody. Bobby Knight, fucking, if you don't know who he is, he's a coach for whatever team that was red. I don't remember. St. John's, maybe? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But he cursed and he hazed. I don't know what else he did, but he got in a lot of trouble, and that kind of opened up the door towards other sports. And then you see it everywhere, right? But you can't blame us. Like, that's how we were coached, and that's how we were raised. So that's all we knew, you know? So it's a little different time, but I would try to make people quit. Not intentionally, but through hard work, right? I want to see who was tough enough to stick out the season. And the first practice is always very, 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 very hard. And you only saw those practices every once in a while, but practice is hard, but those are very, 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 very hard, right? And that's called weeding them out. Now, the people that understood me, that loved it, they don't know if they fucking loved it, but they stuck it out, loved the sport, meaning they would do anything they needed to do to wrestle another day. And of course, they have good days and bad days, and some days you don't want to show up, and that's fine. But there comes to a point where passion and heart can take you so far, right? You really need that will to win as well, the will to not quit, because you can love the sport, but at the same time, you can completely hate it 100%. But the idea of quitting should never enter your mind if it's important to you, right? And it's going to enter your mind, but that's where you have to be strong enough to allow yourself not to, and try another day. You know, try another day. It's like trying to work out, right? So you don't want to work out ever. Like, I don't want to work out ever in life. I wish I was just six-pack McGee out of the blue and like just drank all the time, but I'm not. So I got to work out. But in order for me to get my workout going, I'll just start warming up. I'll do some line drills, some ladder drills, and then I'll start to get moving, and it starts to go. Same thing with, you know, like practice. Like, sometimes you got to go, and then as you go, it may not be the best practice, but at least it was something. Then something fun happened, and it just kind of intrigued you again, you know, or something important happened, or something of value that you learned, and now it intrigued you again. And that's the sport, right? That's sports. But I don't think you should ever quit if you love it. And like I said before, if you hate it, and that's fine. I'm sorry, and I'm going all over the place. When a kid would tell me they want to quit, we'd have a sit down. Let's talk. Instead of being like, all right, get the fuck out of here. What do you mean? No, you're not quitting. No. What's the matter? Let's talk this out. Let's see why your brain wants to quit this thing. And I got a fantastic story about why I really don't quit a lot of things, right? And I'll tell you at the end. I'll tell you after talking about this, but we're going to talk about the quitting and why it is when I sat down with the kids. Because most of the time, it's because of family issue. Something's going on at home. So many times, especially in Belleville, where a lot of the families may be single parents or low income or blue collar. I think blue collar, white collar, I don't remember. Blue collar maybe, middle collar, whatever. Who gives a shit? They have trouble with money, I guess you could say, and they have to work as a high school student in order to help the parent do XYZ. And I get that. That's fine. You know, it's like that. And it sucks when the kid loves it, right? That's the hard part. The kid that kind of doesn't want to quit, but in order to be an adult now, they have to. And I always say, why don't you just try it out? Why don't you just, you know, maybe do 3 days a week and try to get in and work. And no, they try, but it never really works out to that favor, because we're in high school and you're making money versus trying to cut 15 pounds. Usually money wins, right? Unless you really do love the sport. Then you'd find your way. Or I'd have a kid that just really didn't like it. Like, I don't like it, but my friends are out. I was like, well then, listen, man, no hard feeling. The sport is not made for you. And if you don't like it, cool, but you better do something. Don't just fucking sit around and do nothing and be a scumbag. I said that very weird. Scumbag. But that's what I would tell them. You have to do something. If you quit wrestling, cool, perfect for me. What are you going to do instead? Because if it means just sitting home jerking off 17 times, well then, that's not going to cut it for me. Because as a coach, I'm not just here to coach you in wrestling. I believe in you. Like, I want you to be a good person, right? I want you to do good things. I want you to achieve something more than just what it is you're thinking about. And if you're going to quit the sport that I'm coaching, well then you better do something else. Because I honor, or whatever the word is I'm looking for, as usual, I respect your decision, but making sure that you're doing something with your life to not where you're getting in trouble. Because I don't want that. That's the worst thing. A lot of times, there's some of these, and I always keep the door open, right? Have the ABC, not ABC, always be closed, but keep the door open. Hey, if you change your mind, you want to come back, you know where we are, we're still here. And I've had kids do that. Some kids quit for like 2 weeks. And then their friends maybe talk to them, or they watched a match or something, and it intrigued them again. And now they're back on the mats, maybe just practicing, but they're part of doing something. I think that's very important, like being part of a team, being part of a thing that you believe in. It's super important. But once you quit, it's done, right? Once we quit, it's over. Trust me, I know. Like, I want to quit life. And that's the biggest game of all. Whether it's me or my mental illness, whatever it is, I want to quit life because I couldn't take it anymore. I felt like the game wasn't even worth playing. God, would I have ever regretted that? I'm fucking grateful that I went through that. I'm grateful that I have support. I'm grateful that I have understanding people in my life. A lot of people don't. But honestly, sometimes I feel like some people would be better off fucking dead than having to live with that inside their head because they don't want to help themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it's a harsh thing to say, but I just understand how hard it is inside your brain, that it's very hard to manage and it's hard to get through it. And if that's something that you always feel, fucking reach out, man. Whatever. Message me. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you to go to therapy. I'm not going to tell you meditate no more. Let's just talk. That's the approach I'm going to take from now on. It's like, how did I coach kids when they want to quit? So if someone comes to me and they want to quit life or quit something, let's fucking just talk. How's that? Because that's probably the easiest answer we have, right? Fucking, I'll listen. I'm here. Fucking shoot they say DM. Don't shoot a DM. I don't answer those fucking things. I'm really bad at DMs. But you can if you try. You probably end up in the delete box, I think it's called. I don't know. So anyway, quitting to me was pretty simple. And I'll never forget the time that I learned to not ever quit again, or at least 95% of the time. To understand to never give up. And it happened in wrestling practice. Cutting weight, 15 pounds for a match in fucking 3 days. Haven't eaten like 3 days, maybe sips of water here and there. You know how they say eat an orange so you stay healthy, kind of. I don't remember. That's all I did was eat oranges and drink a little bit of water. And now we just suck it out, trying to get down like 10 pounds because I was a fat ass during the weekend. And now we're doing what we call mensa mort, right? If you guys are wrestlers or Belleville wrestler, you understand what I'm talking about. It means half dead. I don't even know if that's real Italian. I have no idea if it's real Italian. Is that like gabagool? Because gabagool is not real Italian, okay? Capicoli, gabagool, nothing that sounds nothing alike. Okay, it's not even nothing spelt that way. Gabagool, capicoli. And I get it because I still say gabagool. It's weird, right? I'm just so stuck to that New Jersey Italian lingo. But anyway, mensa morte means half dead. So what that is like Shark Tank. It's a Shark Tank. So you're the one stuck in the middle for a certain period of time for about 30 seconds to a minute long. And once that period's over, you stay on the mat and a fresh body keeps coming in. And then another one, and then another one, and then someone good, and then another kid who's like maybe a scrub, but they still going at you full force. I was a scrub, so I can't say scrub because I was kind of scrubby. But at that point, I was still part of the varsity team, so they put me in there and they fucking wrecked me. Sorry, I keep looking that way because I need to know if the time is going to be up. So I'm like, maybe on my 10th or 12th round, by that one, you're like seeing stars. And now my coach, who was my mentor, right? Someone that I look up to, still do. About 230 pounds, 6 foot tall. I was about 230 pounds, 5 foot tall. And he would come at, ankle pick, double leg, single leg, smash my face, cross face. And he was just literally taking advantage of me, right? And just destroying me little by little. Not even little by little, a lot by a lot. So I'm just waiting for that period to be over. Whistle rings or whistle blows and he waves everyone off and he stays in. Now, in my mind, I already quit. I was fuck this shit. So I get down on the bottom. My head is down. He comes in, cross face across my face, over to my back, pins me, rolls me back over, stands me up to the feet. Bam, boom, 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 boom. Another period gone. I'm laying down. I'm done. Thought a new person would come in, maybe give me a little bit of a break. He stays in again. Third round is the one I'll never forget. He told me to stand up on my feet. Get up. Now we're neutral, right? Now the job is to take each other down. And at that point, I had no energy. I had no way I can think straight, and I wanted to quit, and you can see it in my body. You could see it in my face. I don't think I've said it, but he was like, shoot your double. Boom. So I shot a double. He blocks it, smashes my face, takes me down, back on my feet. Get up. Shoot your double. Boom. Blocks it on my face. He takes me down. Get back on your feet. Now I'm struggling to get up, and I get up. Take a shot. Where's your shot? Boom. I'm taking a shot. I'm doing whatever I can. Whatever energy I have left, I'm just giving him. But on that last shot, I just laid down and I didn't want to get up. I laid down kind of fetal position. Usually they'll be in the bottom, like trying to get out. I just didn't want to get out anymore. I just wanted to stay there. So I felt him get off me. And I was like, oh man, thank God. All of a sudden, I feel, he has a garbage can and he's smashing me on the back and on the head with a garbage can, yelling at me, telling me to get up. Takes the garbage can, throws it across the fucking room. And we're in a cafeteria, by the way. We wrestled in a cafeteria. And he's yelling at me, get up, where's your double? Where's your shot? I'm taking it. So now I'm just kind of snapping out of it, like getting some anger, I guess, some energy. Now I'm taking these shots and trying to finish. He's not letting me, but he's making me take these shots. And then he said something that's sticking, and it's stuck with me till this day. He doesn't say it nicely. He screams it multiple times. If you quit now, you're going to quit the rest of your life. Now imagine that 6-foot tall man with some grayish hair, Italian kind of, I think, great smile, fucking mean, but also respect. And he's yelling, if you quit now, you're going to quit the rest of your life. Is that what you want? You want to quit? Go ahead. Because if you quit now, you're going to quit the rest of your life. Now I would just start taking a shot and just do any type of movement until he completely disappeared away from me. Right? There's more intensity to that, but I don't want to scream and yell because this microphone might break. But I've never learned a better lesson about quitting or about life because I've rarely quit on a lot of things. And I feel like that's my biggest asset as well. I want to. I may dwindle down, but at some point I get back up and I do it. And even when I'm if I'm doing like a Metcon or like a crank workout or even a CrossFit workout and I'm in it, it's all I hear. It's crazy how PTSD I have about it, right? I have that in my head because I don't stop. And if I feel like quitting, I just stand up. Right? When you do fucking mountain climbers or burpees and you just want to lay there for a second. When I catch myself laying down for a second, I spring back up because that's now my mentality based off what he did to me. But that thing carried me out for the rest of my season, the rest of my career with wrestling. I may have gone against the best in the state, being 5 foot. I'm heavy and fat. They're taller, but all I did was take shots on them. Did I ever win as a freshman and sophomore? No. I think I won once my sophomore year, and I was very excited, but I've never won. But I've always went out, and I've tried my best without quitting. I gave every effort that I had as a person that of my capability, and I will put it out there. And I did the same exact coaching style to the kids that came up. That was my brother's friends, the ones after that, because they all became part of this wrestling team that kind of just learned the same way. And a Belleville wrestler's a tough motherfucker, man. Belleville wrestlers tough. Belleville people are tough in general, but it's that mindset of that was instilled to us to not quit. So I want to make sure that carried on forever. And I would do the same thing. If someone was dragging and being tight, I was like, where's your shot? Take a shot. And I would let them take the shot. Let them take the shot, and I would let them take me down. Take me down. Good. Let's get back up again. I know you're fucking tired. Take that double. Take me down. Good. Let's get back up again. Where's your high C? Give me the high crotch. Boom, boom, switch to double. Bang, let's get up again. And we just keep doing it when they're fucking exhausted, when they want to quit, when they want to stop, when they want to give up. I will not let them. Peak conditioning and the will to win and or the will to not give up was the most important value I want to instill in these kids. And it fucking carried on in a lot of them. So if there's anything out of this story or anything that you've heard today, please remember that if it's something you love and you think it's worth it, just wait it out. Give it a decade. You ever think about that? I'm going to think about what's going to happen here in 8 more years if I don't quit. What would happen to this if I don't quit? But if I do quit, well then, it's all over. I can't do this. I won't do that because it's over. If I quit making YouTube videos, I'll never be able to see what I could have accomplished. Instead, I'm going to say, man, I wish I never quit because I would have been here. And I say that with other things, but not in a good way. Imagine it was oh man, I wish I never quit Marriott, but I didn't quit the hotel. I got fired, so it's a different story. But there's things that I really didn't care about that I feel like I was wasting my time in, and I didn't have it here, right? It wasn't here. So there's no reason for me to expend extra energy in something that I don't care about because I'm just doing it to do it. But wrestling was always one thing that was always here, right? And right now, YouTube is something that I really love and enjoy, and I'll have to keep it here. There's a lot of things that, want to bring me down. I feel what other people think, obviously, how hard it is to do it. You don't see anything out of it, so what's the point? I don't know. I don't know what the point is, right? But a little bit of me does, and that was hearing it this weekend when people say that the podcast helps them. It enlightens them and they learn something from it. So if that's one life change, that was my goal. But in 8 years, that can be 8, maybe 800, maybe 8,000, maybe 8 million. That's loud. But if I quit, it'll be all over. And you're not going to see me quit. So get used to it unless I disappear from this planet. We have tons of interviews and podcast interviews coming up. I have 3 scheduled this week. I have one tomorrow. I have one Friday. I have one on Monday. And then have another one on Thursday. So I've got 4 guest interview podcasts coming up. One's a nutritionist. One is a person who has lost his son, which is a very one that I want to listen to. I want to hear that story. The number 100 is going to be with a therapist, for mental health therapist, a guy that I work with. And number 4 is, who's that person? Oh, wait, it's just 3 then. So fuck that. Okay, they went yesterday. So just 3. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it. Don't click off. Don't click off yet. Hang on a second. Don't click off because the video's over.